Hello, welcome back, my friends. My name is Preacher, and today we are back. Once again, I'm having a good day, y'all. I'm having a great day. We just actually got Rogue up to Lord, so that's going well. About to climb up to Grandmaster. We making it to Celestial this season, boyos. I guarantee you that. We going all the way. So, we made some nice progress. But today, I got to get out of that good mood to give y'all what I promised you. And that was a discussion, quite possibly even a rant, on these DPS players in Marvel Rivals. Now, this video assumes you have already watched the Vanguard video. If you have not, please do. I feel there are some really important general tips in there. I named that the Vanguard one. We tried to stay on that. But there are some really important general tips in there that I'm just going to assume you already know. So I'm not going to mention them here. Not trying to bore y'all with that. Now, without further ado, because these guys are the problem. DPS players, I'm here to tell everybody, get mad, start commenting, DPS players are the problem, right? Because these guys are the strongest players on the field, right? DPS players, now I don't believe they control the tide of battle the most. I truly believe that's healers, and that's a controversial topic. That's a hot topic that I'm willing to discuss. But I truly believe it is the healers that control the tide of battle, but the DPS really are going to control whether or not you win or lose, right? The healers are going to bring in that tide, but it's the DPS's job to crash like a wave and really do that damage and make the changes that is able to allow the Vanguards, aka tanks, to move that front line up, right? Because I tell y'all, as somebody who plays all the ranks, it's really easy to tell when you've been up here for like 50 seconds just straight up fighting, living, nobody's dying. That's a DPS issue. Your DPS is not on business, not getting a pick. That's a problem. That's the problem. You know what I mean? You can't do anything. If you're just standing there, as a tank, if you're just standing there fighting and you've got a good team and they're battling it out, you know what I mean? It's not easy and you can't necessarily get the pick. You don't have all the damage and you've been there for a long time holding your space. You did your job. If you have this team as a healer fighting for the whole 50 seconds, you've done your job. The problem is these DPSs, and they have the power to both roll the other team, and that's the issue. That's the issue, is these DPSs, in my head at least, I think they get far too full of themselves having that damage, right? Because like I said, you can control the tide of battle. You go in there, you kill 3 guys. Now, there's no excuse for everybody else to not be on business and capture the point or do whatever you're doing. The issue comes in when you get addicted to that feeling, right? You have to understand that DPS is doing that because that's what DPS is supposed to do, right? You do the most damage on the field. Just because you're getting the most kills, and again, this is another general rule right here. Kills are not the main focus of this game. You can get 1,000,000 kills and lose. So you going up there and getting a bunch of kills is helpful. It is helpful, but you have to learn where those kills need to be, who those kills. It's not just getting up there and running into damage and why didn't my team support me? No, you have to be moving smart and using your damage in order to help your team. Once again, everything is about helping your team do their job. And if you're not doing that and you're just doing damage, you need to be doing a lot of damage to make that okay. You know what I mean? And most of the time, you're not doing that much damage. That's what I've seen. That's my experience with. I just looked 2,000 wins. Jesus Christ, we've been playing this game, and a lot of the time it's the DP. And these dudes are pig-headed. They're pig-headed. They don't want to switch. They're one tricks. They're not here to help the team, and that's the problem. A good DPS, it needs to be out there to help the team. And I think a lot of the online rhetoric also kind of feeds into the idea that, oh, nah, you could just be number one DPS, just go in there and do it yourself, just hard body and carry everybody. And, you know, as I always say, everybody wants to be the guy. You know what I mean? Surely you want to be the DPS guy. You want to be the Iron Fist. You want to be the Wolverine. You want to be, but you know, you want to be the Magic. Chances are you're not. Chances are you're not, and you would become more of that guy that you want to be or girl if you actually played with your team and actually allowed them to you know, show their strengths. That, again, that makes you the better DPS. That makes you the better tank. That makes you the better healer. That makes you the better player if you make room for your team to you know, do their jobs as well. You trying to do everything because you're frustrated is only causing things to, you know what I mean, go worse, go way worse. You know, and if you're on something like if you've died, if you're like 0-3 as DPS, bro, you need to switch. You need to switch. If not to a different style of DPS, so if you were melee, go, you know, long range. If you were long range, I would not suggest going melee in that situation. It's time to go healer. It's time to go third healer, because right now you're not in it and you need to be bringing value to your team. You know what I mean? I do think DPS are the worst players in the game. And that's partly because they're the most players in the game. You know what I mean? That's just the majority of what people are going to pick. But also because what is a positive feedback loop of person gets killed, person feels good about character, person wants to play more, right? But also person gets killed because your DPS, person thinks they're much better than they are. The person never wants to switch, never wants to do anything else, never wants to actually learn how to play the game, and, you know, is basically breaking even at best most of the time. So that's where I'll leave it for now with DPS. You know, it's not an easy job, especially with all the variants and the different characters, and, you know, there's no one line, no one straight way to play DPS that is going to abate these things for you or make it even easier. But you need to have a solid fundamental, and most importantly, again, I think a lot of the problem with just the class itself is that it's reinforcing the wrong idea that kills is the way to a win, and it's just not. It's just not. And until people get over that fact and learn that, we will, I suppose, all suffer together in Diamond, right? I'm almost out of there, boys. I'm leaving y'all behind. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Well, that's going to do it for me, y'all. My name is Preacher, and I do so hope to see you right back here on the pews.